Hey folks, Mobile Geezer here with my review of the Moto G5 Plus. So starting off, the first gen Moto G was Motorola's best-selling phone of all time, and they've continued that tradition with the Moto G5 Plus. This phone is about as good as it gets for a budget phone. It's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 625 processor, which pretty much everybody knows is one of the most efficient and well-optimized processors Qualcomm's ever made. I'm looking around the phone. We've got our volume up and down. We've got a textured power button so you can feel it. On the left side we have nothing. Up top, our SIM tray and our SD card slot right there. On the bottom, our micro USB microphone and our standard headphone jack, which yes, they still have a standard headphone jack. Around back, of course, we have our 12 megapixel camera with flash, a little Moto branding, and in front we have our fingerprint sensor, home button. We have our earpiece and our camera, and the earpiece is also your front facing speaker, which it's an okay speaker. It's not great, but at least it is front facing, so your sound is coming right at you. Also, the front camera is 5 megapixel wide aperture, f2.2. Rear camera is an f1.7 aperture. Comes with Android 7 Nougat, not the latest 7.1, but it's pretty good. Build quality on this phone is pretty solid. It's got Gorilla Glass 3 up front, it's got a metal back, and it's got plastic frame on the sides. Feels really good in the hand. About the only notch you can come up with against the Moto G5 Plus is that there's no NFC, meaning no Android Pay, and it's still using a micro USB instead of USB Type-C. Why? Nobody seems to know why Motorola went that route. So going over more of the specs, is a 32 or a 64 gig version. I have the 32. That comes with 2 gigabytes of RAM. The 64 comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a micro SD card up to 256 gig. You've got a 3000 milliamp battery, which for me gives me at least a day and a half with about 6.5 hours of screen on time. I think that's pretty terrific. Again, that 625 processor is so well optimized. There's a screenshot from one day that I was using it. I was working that day, so I had it on from about 7 in the morning. As you can see, it's 12 hours later. It's still at 64% with 23 hours left. This battery is pretty hard to beat, folks. Of course, it's about as close to stock Android as you can get. As you can see, it looks very stock, but it has the usual Moto enhancements, which are pretty cool. Some of the actions, you can use one button navigation, meaning you don't have to have the on-screen buttons. So if you turn that on, you can use it to swipe left and right. Swipe left for your launcher. You still have Google Assistant available. So it's basically the same as having your on-screen buttons without them taking up your screen. And of course we have Motorola. Tap twice to turn the flashlight on, turn it off. And you can swipe up on either side to shrink the screen. Just tap to get out of it. You can pick up the phone to stop ringing, and of course you can flip it for do not disturb. Now the Moto G5 Plus has a 5.2-inch LCD screen. I usually prefer AMOLED, but this is a pretty good screen. It's very good in the sunlight, and it's got really good viewing angles. We go into settings, into the display. You've got color mode, so you can have it standard or vibrant. I like it vibrant. The one knock on Moto, since Lenovo took them over, is Moto used to be known for getting some of the fastest updates right after the Google. Now, since Lenovo's taken them over, updates aren't so good, so I wouldn't depend on quick updates. So let's go into the camera. You can see it's not slow, but it's not the fastest either. Swipe left for your settings. You can set storage for the phone itself or on your memory card. You've got quick capture, which means if the phone is off, check it twice, camera comes on. Check it twice again. Flip to the front facing camera. Oh, and by the way, the camera automatically reads bar and QR code, so you don't have to get an app for that. Press on the camera, you've got Pro mode. You can change your white balance, your ISO, all that good stuff. You've got slow motion, panorama. Then you go into your video. With video, you can go 4K Ultra HD at 30 frames per second. You can go Full HD at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, and of course 720p. So you swipe to the right, takes you right into your photos. And this thing takes pretty awesome shots in full sunlight or good daylight. Where you run into the usual problem with cameras, especially budget cameras, in low light. Low light shots, they come out okay, but you probably should be trying to stay in good lighting. I'll show you a few examples. Now there's no OIS, so when you're walking around shooting video, it's going to get a little shaky. It has some electronic stabilization, which helps, but it's not going to be anywhere near as good as OIS, so you want to keep that in mind. But all in all, folks, I think you'd be hard pressed to get a better phone for $230. That's for this 32 gig version. The 64 gig version is $270, both great values. You can pick it up at Best Buy, B&H Photo, Walmart, Target, a lot of places. And you can get it even cheaper on Amazon if you're a Prime member, if you don't mind ads on your lock screen. I haven't had that type of phone, but everybody says it's not much of a bother. And for the 32 gig, you can get for $185 and $240 for the 64 gig, so quite a nice savings. And the Moto G5 Plus comes in gray or gold. As you can see, I have the gray version, and it's compatible with all major carriers, so you're not going to have an issue there. Would I recommend this phone? Well, about 2 months ago, my son-in-law, who's very good at investigating anything he spends money on, asked me for a recommendation for a good phone that didn't cost too much. I recommended the Moto G5 Plus. He got it. He absolutely loves the phone. So yes, I would recommend this phone to anyone who wants a really good budget phone. I think you'd be hard pressed to come up with a better one than a Moto G5 Plus. I'll leave links in the description. Of course, as always, comments are welcome, and thanks for watching.